Good morning, y'all. Good afternoon, good morning. It's still morning, isn't it? Ooh, that's bright. Oh, well, y'all, I look like a ghost. Let's see if I can get it to turn a different way. There we go. Good morning. How are you? Just a second. I need to message my friend Tammy. Okay, live now. Boop. Anyways, you guys, it's been a really long. Girl, stop. My dogs always want up when I'm busy. And anyhow, it's been a really long time since we had coffee, and it made me feel I've been wanting to get back online and do this for a really long time. Oh, hang on, I got to turn off my Wi-Fi. There we go. Everything on my computer wants to pop up. So if you tried to join us just a little bit ago, or I should say me, and you couldn't, I'm sorry. I had tech issues. Hey, Tammy, good morning, sister. I know I look like a ghost because the sun over here. I just had tech issues. I haven't done this in so long. I tried to use my new laptop. That wouldn't work because YouTube didn't recognize the device. I tried to use my phone. Couldn't do that because we don't have enough subscribers. And it's just been, I wanted to throw in the towel. And I said, no, I already said I was going to do this. So here I am. And you'll notice Timmy's not here. I'm missing my better half. And he's already working. God bless him. So time, I apologize in advance. I started this coffee conversation 3.5 years ago. And it just started out because I missed my friends and family back home in South Carolina. So I said, you know what? I know a way to join them for coffee. Here we go. Fast forward, we continued because not only was it fun to connect, that we found that, it was fun to connect. There you go. It was just nice to sit down and have a cup of coffee with people that we've never met in person, and then also with family that we don't get to see anymore because we moved away. So that's basically what this is. We moved away from South Carolina. We left the city, the rat race, our jobs, our family, our friends of 25 years behind. And anyhow, moved to Tennessee, off grid in the mountains here. And I shouldn't say behind, just in a different part of the United States. So online's the only way to connect. And we just would gather with coffee on live and talk about everything that we've got going on. And we hadn't done that in a really long time. So speaking of leaving everything behind, my friend Tammy here that's in the comments, her and her family did the same thing. And I think they actually lost their marbles a lot more than we lost ours. They have a family of 12 with 2 littles, and they did that. They quit their jobs. They sold their house in incredibly fast fashion, moved here by us, and are building their house from scratch on some land that they bought. And just everybody, I find that a lot of people are doing that right now, especially with today's day and time with everything that's going on in the world. God's just tugging on people's hearts saying, hey, get out of the city, get out of your life, move to the country, move to the mountains. You need to move. You need to be more self-sufficient. You need to get out of the government, under the thumb of the government overlords, wherever you're living, and be a little bit more free. And I get it. I totally get it. As a matter of fact, I had to write a story recently about why we left, and to reevaluate why you're doing what you're doing, and see, hey, is this working for me, or do I need to do something else? And you pray about it long enough and you wait long enough, God will let you know if you're on the right path. But so anyway, so that's, I'm kind of all over the map, but I'm sorry. Just got a lot to say. I haven't talked in a while. So with us, let's see, last update, since it's been so stinking long. I think last time we talked, we had a coffee shop, which we no longer do. And if you blinked, it went by that quick. In December 1st, we decided to open a little coffee shop, and it was stinking adorable. We opened it up in downtown Morristown, which was a little just a hair over an hour away from our house. And it was a family adventure, and we felt led to do it. And I do have some regrets, but not of doing it, not opening it up. And we did it our way. And it was just it was stinking adorable, y'all. We percolated our coffee, we made our own sugar cubes, we had our little bow ties on, and it just looked old school, old fashioned, like a step back in time. It was incredible. But and you're like, why'd you close? So we opened December 1st and we closed April 1st, actually on April Fool's Day, which is ironic because that's the exact day that we moved here 4 years ago in Tennessee. And I can't believe it's been 4 years. But God did some pretty incredible things while we were open. I've met some amazing people. I was working a long time away from the home. Gas was astronomical. Gas was costing us over $200 a week to work. Gavin and I worked it full time. Ashlyn helped when she did when Dollywood was closed, but then she had to go back to work. And y'all, I'm sorry for the glare. There we go. If I could do that, let's see. I need to figure out a way to block it or move or something. Anyways, let's see if I can scooch over. Boop, boop, boop. But anyhow, and I'm sitting in right in front of our window because it's where the outlet is, and it's the closest to my Wi-Fi connection. The coffee shop was incredible. It was, Tammy, and I know God brought us there for a reason. It doesn't mean that I'll always know those reasons, but we met some people that have been very influential in our life, and I hope they could say the same thing about us. But God will bring you to a place, even if it's just for one person, or whether that person is for you or you are for them. He will move. That's what we feel that he did. And anyhow, people with the term, some of the terms are like that I've heard or used is failure. And I don't think that we failed. We did exactly what we set out to do. We opened up a coffee shop. It was great. And we did it in record time. God opened doors. And after our time was up, our season was up, it was time to close and move on. And it wasn't productive for us spiritually, financially, physically, for us to continue to be in that same location. They're just, our season was over. And that's pretty much all that anybody needs to know. So anyhow, it was a hard decision. If anybody's ever opened up a business and poured their heart, souls, and every stinking dime they had to their name into something. Good morning, Shelley. How are you, dear? You will understand how hard of a decision that was to close our coffee shop. However, I will say this. From the moment that I made that decision, and it was tough, I struggled with it for 3 months. We were open 4 months. I struggled with it 3 months. That the moment that day, God opened up opportunities for me. Matter of fact, hey, Danny, how are you today, brother? I was just talking about our decision. Anyways, I can tap onto that just a little bit more. It's really early here, just 7 a.m. Oh, well, what time is it here? Oh, it's 9:50. The day's half over. No, we woke up actually early, Timmy, and I'll share with that a little bit. But our coffee shop, our little Homestead coffee shop that we had, God was pressing on my heart that some things just weren't right and that I needed to not be yoked to that business anymore. And some pretty big red flags for me. And that is something that, you can you can sometimes tell people by the company you keep. You can judge a person situation that it was for us. And we prayed for God to open up doors for us to move in a different direction there. And it just wasn't time. So, if it's not time, it's not time. There's nothing that you can do about it. You can force it. And that's where we've talked a lot about that in church lately is permissive and divine will of God. If you're a believer in Christ and you've studied his word, you understand the difference. And it's something that I've learned about, but I've never really resonated on it for long periods of time in my life until we moved here for the last 4 years. God has his divine will. His divine will is perfect. His will for your life and where he wants you. and what he wants you to do. And his timing is perfect. We are human and we want our way. We want quick. We want instant. And sometimes we feel guilty here that we know what's best. And I'm not one to sit and wait. I'm not very patient ever. My family knows this about me. Timmy and I balance each other out in that. He's as patient as a saint. He'll wait and wait, and he's almost to the extreme on the other end. He doesn't act quickly. He doesn't jump. So we're like this for each other. And then you have permissive will. It's where we're humans and you're like, but I want to. So he's like, you shouldn't do that. And you're like, but I want to. So he's like, you know, it's not perfect. It's not divine. Still during your permissive will little temper tantrum, but Shelly's like, even if the shop is only open a few months, you learn. We networked with some great people, and I message them almost every day right now, and it's been amazing. One of the people that we met, my friend Carla, she is, I think she's around 70 years old. She's an amazing person, and she's now joining us for like every holiday. She's become our family. And even if we went there just for her, it was worth it. And another friend, Carmela, that she's now, she was a single mom and just starting off. And since our relationship developed, she now has her own brick and mortar business, and her business is exploding. And she witnesses to every single customer that comes through her door, and she prays over every person she works on. And it's just been amazing to see it. So I know I keep going, God, why did you do this? Why did you allow us to go so far in debt? I don't do debt. I haven't lived in debt in over 20 years. I preach against debt. Debt keeps us a slave. It keeps us a slave. It keeps us prisoners. It causes me to lose sleep. I keep my focus off of God when I'm in debt. That's all I can think about. It eats away at me. And that alone is kind of what let me know that I was under permissive will instead of divine will. Because I'm like, God goes, I didn't put you in debt. You did, Joker. That his divine will wouldn't have put me in a place where I was losing sleep, that I was experiencing anxiety, that I was stressed out every night, that it wasn't him, that was me. I probably would have woke up a lot sooner. But again, he blessed me in my decision. He blessed our family. And now, when I decided to actually listen to him, he opened up that door immediately. He offered me a job that I would have never otherwise received the day we decided to close. And that was to work at home online so I could be here with Timmy in London. And it's just been phenomenal. So anyways, moving forward, coffee shop closed. We're moved on. And I saw Timmy. God bless him. He's such a cheerleader. And he's so easygoing. And he definitely, are you okay? Figgy's over there hacking up a fur ball. During this time, of us having a coffee shop, we had baby rabbits, we had baby puppies, we had baby goats, and everybody wanted to be a bad mama. So he's sitting here with Lyndon, caring for her full time. He's also taking care of the puppies because Athena decided she didn't want to be a mom to 6 puppies. So we were bottle feeding them every 2 hours. Praise God, the goats in the winter. They had them in the snow. So we had to bring them in the bathhouse, and he had to keep fires going out there for them and take care of the homestead. It was just a lot on him. And I could see it. To have a job, to provide for us financially, to support these things. So he did everything that he could, and he never complained. And it was quite incredible because I think if he did, I would have snapped. Can't hear you, Amber. Amber, you can't hear anything? Okay. Anybody hear anything? Do do do. As made from scratch, God knew Grandma made everything from scratch. It may take longer, but it'll be better than ever. Like you said, it's God's timing, not ours. Okay, so if you guys can't hear me, let me know. Anybody? Testing 1, 2, 3. Yep, keep chatting. Cutting in and out. I'm sorry, it's our Wi-Fi. So that's one of the biggest struggles that we have here is our off-grid connection. And it is troublesome since I make a living online. Last week, you want to get disconnected and you move offline, you move off. Struggle's real. Financial provider for our home. Still don't know if I have that balance, but that's something that is a daily struggle, and it's something that will probably always be a daily struggle. And I reevaluate my obligations daily and make me a list to try to figure out what's most important. I always say live things first. So that's at the top of the list. Live things first, whether that's an injured animal or a child with hurt feelings or a husband that needs some attention, and everything else will fall to the wayside. That can come second, but live things first. Shelly says, I know what you mean about cutting in and out. My cell does the same thing. Oh, you can forget cell here. We have no cell here. I have a half a bar if I'm standing like Lion King by the window, and the struggle is real. But I wouldn't trade it for the world. Do I want high-speed internet? Heck yeah. It would make my work go by so much quicker. But it also comes with the downside of that is because we have that to the shows and the games and the being plugged in all the time. And my inability to be online sometimes makes me do the other things that I need to do. I'm like, well, I can't work online. Might as well clean. Might as well organize. Might as well plant those seeds I needed to get in the ground. So anyhow, moving forward. I'm working online now at home. I'm also making all the products that I was still making since, well, for the last 2.5, 3 years. And I'm getting in some new stores. So that helps. And if you ever want anything homemade from us, we do have a website, www.myhomesteadlife.com/shop, or you can just go to my website and click. I haven't updated it in a while. So if you see any scents or anything that aren't on there that you want, I can custom make anything. But that is one of our streams of income. And then we've been trying to sell livestock. This is a weird season, y'all. We're either feast or famine with the livestock. We either have a list of people that have been wanting things forever and our animals just ain't having babies. Cue the rooster. Or we have tons of livestock available and nobody wanting to buy them. So that's kind of where we're at now. I have 2 baby goats that I need to sell. I also have 2 female rabbits, and then I have some livestock guardian dogs. But in that same token, we're very selective. So it's like I'll have people, for instance, I had somebody the other day that wanted a dog, wanted me to drive 3 hours to get it to him. I'm like, nope, sorry. I value my time more than the money. So, or somebody that wants goats and wanted to talk me down. And I'm like, nope, I'd rather keep them. I'm sorry. And if it was on that same note too, y'all, I'm not heartless. If I had somebody in Georgia that reached out to me and she was supposed to get our goats for free. We were going to give them because we heard her story and God just placed on my heart. And I think he wanted to see if I would be obedient, because when it came time to get them the goats, her grandfather just bought her some and she didn't need them anymore. Everything just worked out. But now I have these 2 goats. Like I said, God knows what our future. He knows everything that's going to happen. He knows what we need. So if I'm not selling these livestock right now, I have to be fine with that because God knows our plan. He might know that we need them for something else. and that's just how it goes. But anyhow, so that's how we're making money right now. Everybody wants to know how you make money doing what you do. I'm breaking up again. Well, the internet can kiss my grits right now. So we make money on the homestead by me writing, making products, and selling our livestock. But the livestock right now, I asked in our group if anybody else is having problems selling it. And they said, a lot of them said yes. And horses seem to be one of those things that are a hot commodity right now. They're going, I mean, they're like, if you're in the market for a horse, now is your time because people are giving them away, literally giving them away in groups that I'm in because feed is expensive. A lot of people don't have working horses. The livestock isn't working for their homestead. They're either an expensive pet or they use it to show. If they use it to show, you don't find those horses online. But most of them don't have a greater purpose, unfortunately. And hay is really hard to find right now. Gavin is working. Oh, update Gavin. When we closed the coffee shop, Gavin went to work at a local farm store, which learning to work the forklift and all really valuable skill sets. And he says, Mom, we've been out of hay for 2 weeks. We can't get any. And I'm like, wow. And feed is doubling. So I think those are some of the issues that people are having with selling livestock is just there's not the demand right now because it's really hard. I mean, if you can't get feed and you stock, and that's just something that we're facing. I've been busy dehydrating kale that is going to seed, but seems to grow better in the winter here. Well, they do, Shelly. Kale is pretty much around here a winter crop, and it is down south too. Now up north somewhere it might be more of a summer crop, but it'll go to seed in the heat. Same thing with that you're dehydrating in it because you can add that in any of your soups or your juice mixes or putting in casseroles. I mean, you can sneak that joker in anywhere and nobody's going to know. But anyway, so Gavin's working at the farm store. We're loving it because he gets a discount. 2, he brings us home things that they're getting rid of that they're just going to be. So that's, don't you all get really cold weather up there? I don't know what your growing zone is. We're 7A, 7B here. We used to be 8B when we were in South Carolina. But anyhow, so Gavin's bringing home a bunch of things that they would throw away, like vegetables and, oh, Tammy, that reminds me, if you want some pumpkin plants, let me know, girl. Gavin brought me home a tray. So we're going to put in a pumpkin patch, but I have a lot left over. And I love it. So all of those things are benefiting our family. The other day, he brought home a whole truckload of straw. It was the bits and pieces that fall out from the bales. And I'm using them in my garden to cover for mulch. I'm like, heck yeah. And there's no seed. There's straw without any seed heads. So even better. And get Timmy, since I quit, or since we closed the shop, I should say that, there is a spring in his step, y'all. He has been working on his man cave every day, and he is so happy. And I realized Timmy will do anything that he needs to do or that we need him to do. But he's happiest when he can work on things he wants to work on. And he's like, with his shop, he's getting up early in the morning before even the sun comes up and getting the day started because he wants to work on his shop. So he's balancing that between his shop and Gavin's house right now. And it's just good. I mean, it's good. It's so much easier to live with him when he's doing what he wants to do instead of what he has to do. And because if he's doing what he has to do and not what he wants to do, he's a pretty miserable codger to live with. And he's just, he's very whiny. And it's hard to keep a foot up his behind. Gotta go, Amber. We'll chat later. God bless. Thank you, Danny, and say hi to your wife, dear. And you have a blessed afternoon. Hopefully we can catch up again. Faith just heard that about the horses. She says you should go get one so she can ride it. This is, oh, well, you have a really hot planting zone, Shelly. Yeah, no wonder it's going to sea deer. But Tammy, when I went to get the allergy testing, it showed I'm allergic to horses, so no can do. I was raised with horses, but we always boarded them. We never had them at the house, and that could explain half of my allergy issues. Though when we used to go see them, I thought it was the hay. Didn't realize it was the horses. But yeah, no can do unless you're 7 acres, then we can talk. I could stay far enough away from them that they wouldn't be an issue. Uh, but anyhow, so Gavin and Timmy are working on Gavin's house. Y'all, the clock is ticking. He has till November 3rd to build his home for him and his future bride, Ashlyn. We're a little stressed out about that. I mean, yes, we built this house here in under 3 months, but we had a film crew on us. Nobody helped us. I'm going to tell you that. But that film crew kept us building 24 hours a day. And we had our savings from the sale of our house in Polly's. So we didn't have to work for money during that time. So the house build was our full-time job. Now Gavin's working full-time and I'm working full-time. So we don't have that luxury of devoting all of our energy. And so for Timmy's shop a long time ago for another project. So the tin that we're going to use for that roof is leftover. So at one time we did spend money, but not anytime recently for it, or just specifically for his shop. It is huge. It's 20 by 16, which could easily be the size of somebody's tiny home. Gavin's house is 20 by 30. And are you hang on, y'all? I need my glasses so I can read. There's also supply chain issue. My daughter-in-law's aunt is building a small cabin, and it sounds like it could take years to do to the problems of getting things. Shelly, that's the truth. And I was actually going to be, I was talking to Jill Winger from the Prairie Homestead. I think that's the name of her website. I did a podcast with her, 2 podcasts actually, about off-grid living and water. And we were going to go on and discuss the construction supply chain issues. And I think they're talking about doing that for their next season because the cost, Tammy knows, the cost have tripled and quadrupled just in the last couple months for whatever reason. I mean, I don't understand the government right now trying to destroy humanity, but it is what it is. So supply chain issues are a huge problem to deal with if you're trying to build from scratch, or if you're hiring contractors, if you're using new products, and even if you're going to fall under building and zoning requirements that require you to get certain materials for your house, then yeah, it's really difficult. And I feel my heart goes out to people in that situation. Fortunately for us, we're very resourceful in one. And then I think Tammy's issue too, or circumstance, is our family members can do the construction. Tammy's husband works at Lowe's Home Improvement Store now, so he has the inside connection. And she has Benjamin, who has their son-in-law, who is very skilled and get blessed in that situation. With us, we're frugal by choice and by circumstance, and I say by circumstance because we're broke all the time, and that's by choice. To some extent, I could leave the house all the time and I'm talking really good money, really good cash. But I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be able to be home with Lyndon. I wouldn't be able to be here for Timmy. I wouldn't be able to homestead at all. So I choose to work at home, which means a lesser income. Our needs are still provided for. We don't get any government assistance. And we're quite satisfied with that. But because of that, we don't have the extra. We don't have the leftover. We don't have the deep pockets. So we have to do everything frugally. And Tammy says, I won't let her get a horse unless. Tammy, that's a really good point, and we'll probably talk on that. I'm going to start doing lives more often so I can stay up to date with everybody. Every animal, and I'll jump back to the construction, every animal, two, they're in the house. They're itty bitty dogs. That's it. Everything else has to be working towards the homestead to event or two little pets inside. That's it. And if they're not working towards the homestead for a greater purpose, then they have to go. That's just how it is. I'm not in this for a hobby. I'm in this for a life. So back to the construction, but with Timmy's shop, and I'm not sure Gavin's house will be a little bit different, but pretty much everything everything's recycled or repurposed with an exception of the screws. Now, even some of the screws we did recycle. Homestead Rescue, when we filmed that TV show, left a bunch of screws, and then we received wood that we got off an old barn and trade for Gavin's labor, and it came with a bunch of screws. And Timmy went out there and got all the screws, undid them, put them in the bucket, and we're reusing them. So we're very resourceful. Have any money invested in it, and we'll share the pictures of that all along. He doesn't plan on insulating it, so that's not an issue. And if he did, I would buy the repurposed insulation that's available to us locally, which is the foam board insulation that's been used in other places. Heck, I even saw something on Facebook the other day. My friend Amanda shared a link with me. It was R19 insulation. It wasn't anything wrong with it. You just had to go and get it, and it was free. Now, they were cut, the batting of insulation, they were in the wall, and you had to pull them out. And it's labor intensive, but you could still do it for free. And the windows that we have were repurposed, recycled windows that were left over from a project that were free for Timmy's shop. So yeah, it's possible, but you can't be on a timeline. You have to be resourceful, and you have to be willing to put in the labor. A lot of times people just aren't willing to do all three. Prayfully, though, we've got the time to do that because Timmy's working full time on the homestead. So anyhow, that's it for that kind of update. And I don't want to keep y'all too long. We're already at 33 minutes because my coffee's getting cold. But so I'm here working. Timmy and Gavin are steady working on the two projects that we have going. Those are the major things. We have a plethora of things that we're working on. I'm working on gardening and growing food because I think that's crazy, insanely important right now. Even if you grow something on your kitchen counter, grow something right now. Something's better than nothing. And the supply chain issues are going to just become, I think they're dripping on us. Like they're slowly making an impact, a visual impact that we've seen over the last year. And because of only seeing it and tiny bits here and there, it's not hitting us quite as hard or waking us up or shaking us into reality like it should be. But before too long, those tiny little bits and pieces are going to become huge. And it's going to be so in your face that you'll feel that sense of panic. In order to not feel that sense of panic, you need to start now. Start by doing something, even if it's growing microgreens in your house or storing seeds or learning how to garden for the very first time. I mean, what will it hurt to have extra food that didn't hardly cost you anything to put in the ground or put in a pot? I mean, if that can just save your peace of mind in the future, honey, you need to do it. And the prices do go up weekly, Tammy. I don't know if you're talking about construction or food, but prices are going up weekly. And you know what's not going up? Our pay. Everything's going up. Get crazy again. Even at my cheap places that I go to because I'm so frugal for food, the dollar's buying less and less. So I guess we'll talk about that this week. We need to talk about our food supply and chain and how to produce food, how to still get it at a discount, how to find your like-minded people that you can barter with. And you guys think about that and bring some ideas to the table, because I think it's going to take us be in, a community, a network, even if we're not located next to each other, to help each other out. And speaking of, we got some goats and rabbits. If anybody's looking, we're right here in East Tennessee. So hit me up. Yeah, send me a message because I think we're gonna need this. Anyways, y'all have a blessed day. I'm gonna go now. I've got some writing to do. I'm actually in a deadline that I'm kind of avoiding. So y'all have a blessed day, and thanks for joining me for coffee. It's been a get Timmy in here to let you know what's going on in his neck of the woods. But anyways, y'all take care now, and thanks for putting up with me.